Funny thing, life can be a rat race. It certainly is for a lot of people. It's an experience and it's tough, Your life or life can be, it's just like, you feel like you're getting up, getting ready, and then going to work. You got to wind up and then you got to wind down. And it's just like, you give your best hours and it's like, uh, and you just at the end of the day you're done. It's hard to devote it can be a challenge to devote yourself to some kind of a craft or an endeavor that is going to take you into the to the next, into the the progressive evolution of your life, to the next phase, stage kind of thing. And so it's a tricky one. It's like, so how does one get ahead? I find myself in that predicament as we speak. I've been here before, and that was essentially why I sold my house. And I had 4 years of freedom, and it was great. I would say it's like, I don't know how I used to work, because being me is a full-time job. I mean, just like sorting out who I am and figuring all that kind of stuff out. It's like I don't got time to do other people's dirty work. And that's what I found in a lot of the things that I do. It's like, that's what I'm doing, even though it's appreciated. And so the way that I have found, which allows me to get ahead, is through what I call a routined life. And I tell you, it's tricky to walk the straight line, the straight arrow, to be on the wagon. It's very, a straight line is the fastest way in between 2 points, but it's like, walking a tightrope. It's a fine line, and if you fall off, you can, you hit the ground hard sometimes, and sometimes you don't stop until you hit the ground, until you hit the bottom, and then you make your way back up and do it all over again and have learned something from the experience. But it's like, as I know it, the way forward is, because after work, sometimes you're spent and you just want to relax, and it's very, it can be a bit of a challenge to not just entertain yourself or unplug, that kind of thing, through whatever practices you have. I mean, you should be able to do that, I think. At the end of the day, feminine energy, right? It's more about that. It should just be, winding down towards your evening and whatnot. But and it's hard, to just sit on the computer and study music production, or like, to do this or do that, to dig into something which requires energy and effort. It's a little bit tough. And so I have found that the way is in the morning. But in order to get up early in the morning, there has to be a coherence between your mind and your body. They have to be essentially on the same page, working in unison. Because if your mind is awake but your body is tired, if it's not healthy, functioning properly, if it's busy doing other things like detoxification, and it's just, if it's running behind, it's very hard for you to get out of bed, or if your mind isn't there, you just don't want to. Probably maybe because you don't have your priorities straight, or just because you got something going on that's stressful in life. And like through the bed, through sleeping, it's very easy to kind of, you can shut the world out for a bit, and it's like that's your own personal time, and it's like this is something that brings you comfort, right? But they say it's like greater freedom comes from it's like freedom doing whatever you want. Well, it's like, in a sense, but like if you through discipline, and say you get more freedom, so you cultivate some kind of a skill, you go to school, you learn something. Sure, you weren't partying while your other friends were partying, but then you got yourself a good job where you could, like, make money, where you could have a lifestyle that you enjoy. doing the things that you enjoy. I mean, traveling and stuff like that, buying a house, car, whatever the kind of things that are important to you. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just, but it's like to do it, it's like to be able to operate on as few hours of sleep as possible. Your diet has to be squeaky clean. I mean, you have to be very in touch with your body, listen to it, only eat when you're hungry. So pleasure eating is not really an option, and eating junk food is not really an option, because and eating poorly combined foods and eating and overeating is not really an option, because all of these things bog your energy down, and then that, you know, so much energy goes to the digestion of food that it's just like you're not going to, and like eating too late is not an option, because you're not going to get out of bed if your body's just like a slug. And you know, your mind has to be right. If you're not dealing with the stuff in your life properly, then you probably won't sleep very well. I mean, you got to handle your biz. And like, if you're not, you know, on some kind of a path, you know, if you're stuck in something, if you're you know, stuck in a sort of a negative loop, not going anywhere, you're feeling stuck in life, you know, you have to address that. And then as soon as you do, it changes absolutely everything, of course, because you have like something to funnel your energy into. It's like, yeah, your diet. I mean, meditation is a huge thing, because they say, like in yoga, they say it's like you basically have the option. You can sleep or you can meditate. They both essentially accomplish the same thing. Sleep is passive, meditation is active. And there are, you know, there are benefits to sleep, and there are benefits to meditation. I choose meditation. I do both, but I mean, I don't need to sleep very much because of my meditation practice, and yoga and exercise, right? Like, your body has to be at a place where it's just, you know, where it's ready to go. But then it's like, when you do get to that point where you are in a space in your life where you're able to get up in the morning, and you're not like, you have to deal with the negativity in your life too. You can't be surrounded by people who are, you know, I hate to say it, but like kind of like really negative, right? And like, and figure like it's not going to affect you. You know, there's a quote by Krishnamurti where he said, "It's no measure of good health to be well adjusted to sickness." And so, you know, you got to sort your life out. But when you do, it is in those morning hours. For me, it's like between, you know, it's in the morning hours, the wee morning hours where, you know, it's quiet. And like, if you can get up and like you do everything that you need to do, you take care of everything, all your business and stuff like that, and you make progress on stuff, and you just chip away at it, you know, very gentle. Always very gentle on yourself in the morning, because it's just like, you know, it's special time, special me time. And then in doing so, you create a void in front of you by taking care of all of the little things that need to be done, which, because everything takes time. This is the issue. So it's just like, how do you get ahead? But if you take care of everything, then you just kind of, you create a void in front of you that you just flow into seamlessly and effortlessly. And then at the end of the day, when you get home, there is no guilt or reservation about taking some time to just relax. You know, there's nothing else you need to do, because you took care of your business. You did what needed to be done. You stepped up to the plate. You participated. You showed up. You were fully present. You know, you gave it your best, and that is all that is necessary, right? And it's like, you know, it's like this, the cumulative effect. It all adds up, and you know, it changes everything. But you know, to get to that point, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like, you gotta be on point. You know, it doesn't just come to an unprincipled, undisciplined person. This is the benefits of doing a lot of personal work and and like philosophy. I don't know how else to say it, because it's like it's, you know, and this is a philosophy on life. You know, I believe in it, and so yeah, it's great. You know, something I'm loving right now is it's just like at this time, because there's so much sun in the summertime, I feel like I don't need to eat very much. So I'm in a process right now of evolving my diet to make it relevant to the season that we're in. And you know, Ayurveda talks about this kind of stuff. Not that I follow that at all, but I know that there is, you know, they definitely, it's seasons are a thing, and you know, they certainly are for me. And then listening to that, it's like, well, don't just carry the diet that you've been eating over the winter in Canada into the summer. Like, switch it up. It's like, stop eating those things, stop eating the bananas that, you know, go, no, how about watermelons that are grown here? And how about, like, you know, yeah, fresh, whole, fresh, raw, ripe, organic fruits and vegetables in season, local, dirt grown, you know, with love, you know, kind of deal. So, and it all makes a difference in your energy levels, because food is not just about chemical composition. There is something to do with like life force energy, you know, like how, like, if you put an apple in the ground, it could like sprout a tree. I mean, there's some life there, right? It's not just about chemicals. It's not just a formula. There's, yeah, and you know, you get your B12 from eating fruit that and stuff that comes straight from the ground, like without washing it, because it's like the bacteria that's everywhere, that's covering everything. That's the B12, and you only need it in very small amounts, but you have to get it from somewhere. So your system has to be receptive enough to be able to utilize the B12 that is on everything. But I mean, if you just eat, you grab the apple and then you eat it, you know, you grab the grapes and you eat them, and you know, whatever other things, or there's celery, or you know, I'd probably wash my carrots. I'm not saying eat dirt, right? But like, but to the greatest extent possible, from tree or vine or berry bush, you know, right into your mouth, and you know, with very little hesitation. You know, it's like, even like with lettuces and stuff like that, there's this sap, you know, it's like a white sap. It's like the stuff you see in dandelions, and it's like super antioxidant, like super good for you. But if you just like, you know, it doesn't take very long for that stuff to not have the same impact, the same, you know, quality, you know, amount for, or strongness of the chemical and whatnot, right? So you got to eat fresh. It's all about fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm a fruitarian, so I, you know, I believe in it. Fruit saved my life. You know, I went through a time where my knees and stuff were so bad, I almost like couldn't even walk. I was like so lost. And that's when, you know, it's when you're like, it's when I said the words to myself, I'm not going to die anytime soon, and I can't go on living like this. And that is when I was able to question the things I was eating. I was on a raw vegan diet, you know, and I was just like sitting there eating my broccoli. It's just like, what does my body even run off of? How does this thing even work? And then it was like, start looking into it. It's like, no, that's crazy. You can't just eat fruit. And it's like, well, what's the most healthy thing that you can possibly think of? Fruit, you know, which is just any plant that produces a flower that turns into a structure which contains seeds. So it's like nuts and beans and stuff like that, you know. Faveolus vulgaris. I love beans. I do. I don't eat them all the time, but fairly often, because I just feel good, you know. I feel like, just for my lifestyle, for running and yoga and calisthenics, it helps my body. I don't know. You know, maybe one day I'll be a breatharian, but you know, right now this is where I'm at, and I just take it one step at a time. No forcing. Everything happens organic and naturally. You know, you don't got to think about it. Just you know, get out of its way. So yeah, I don't know. That's how I get ahead. That is how I stay sane. because, you know, for myself, if I'm not constantly evolving, if I can't see progress in my life, it impacts me on a very deep level, and other behaviors start coming up, attitudes start coming up, and, you know, I will say negative ones. And it's just like, but because I know the formula for myself, I'm able to work with that and then not let it become an issue. It frequently becomes an issue, but I frequently address it. So it's just like, yeah, that is how I get ahead.